Top of the morning, guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. It is a beautiful day to be outside. It's honestly hot as shit, but we make that work. Today, I'm gonna be going over the cost of owning this car. I forget the categories, but basically the actual payment, insurance, all that good stuff. Before we get in the car and go for a drive, I just want to show you how clean this motherfucker looks right now. Oh my goodness. So mind you, I spent 3 hours yesterday doing a nice exterior detail. Soon as I get in my car to start driving, we get hit with a severe thunderstorm that wasn't on the weather app. So that's always fun. But enough about my misery. Let's get in the car, go for a drive, and let me start breaking down exactly how much it costs to own this car. Nice little pull, never hurt nobody. So first and foremost, obviously, we got to talk about the car. What the car costs, how much I pay monthly for everything. Can't be doing all that. I got to use my brain right now. So right off the bat, the car was $32,500 when I bought it about 3.5 years ago. On top of that was about $4,000 in fees, taxes, and interest. I actually got a ridiculously low interest rate on this car right before all the interest rates went up to like 6, 7, 8, 9 again. I got this car right around when they were still zero-ish. So basically I got this car at a 2.9% interest rate through Lexus, which was honestly amazing. Nowadays that would probably be like 6, 7%, running a few extra thousand or a lot of extra thousands. So I put $4,000 cash down onto the car, and then that leaves me with a $589 monthly payment. So $590, I guess. So per year I'm paying about $7,080 just to pay off the car. All right, I was trying to do this while driving, and trying to do the numbers while driving and watching out for idiots on the road was not the best time. But right where I left off, let's get into the insurance. The insurance on this car started at $270 a month. They absolutely raped me because I guess I had a bad driving record, and I was a young kid, and this is apparently a fast car. So yeah, it was just a high risk, high liability. So they raised that shit up for an entire year. I was paying $270, and that was about I think it was $3,240 for that first year. Then the second year, and up until now, they dropped it a good amount. It's $170 a month, full coverage also too. So just in case anything happens. So the last 2 years I paid $170 a month, and it was $4,080 in total for those 2 years. So I figured I add up the 3 years I spent on insurance just to get an average. So if I add up the first year and then the next 2 years, I get $7,320, and that divided by 36 is $203, but I'm just gonna call it $200 to make it simpler. So basically on average, I've paid about $200 per month, which is about $2,400 annually. Another thing I forgot to add was the taxes. Annually, I'm paying $690 for taxes on a fucking vehicle that I already own, which I think is ridiculous, but life is life. So that's another thing. I'll probably add that with the actual price of the car column. All right, so the next one is gas. Now, this one is a little tricky. I had to do some mathematical calculations to figure out how to get an average for you guys, but I think I did a pretty good job. So since I've had this car, I've driven about 16,000 miles a year. That's about 1,333 miles per month. On average, I get about 250 miles per tank. It's very, very close to that number every single time. Then the miles I've driven per month, I divided by 250, which is how much I get per tank. That leaves me with a number of 5.3. Then the amount I spend to fill up this car every single time is $70. It's maybe on or off by $2 depending what gas station I go to. So I went and multiplied 70 times 5.3. So that leaves me with about $373 per month on gas, and that multiplied by 12 is $4,477. So we'll call it about $4,500 a year on gas. This thing eats gas. It's disgusting, and it's honestly very frustrating because all the competitors get way better gas per mileage. I know I drive this aggressively, but even if I drove a BMW or an Audi aggressively, I would get way better gas mileage. I guess it's the V6, but I don't know. I wasn't aware of this prior to buying a car, but I guess you pay for the reliability with other things. Now on to maintenance. You know, I feel like I'm missing something, but I think this is the last category. So right off the bat, I say that a lot. Right on the bat. All right. So every year I have done about 3 oil changes. That seems about right. 16,000 miles a year. Yeah, so 3 oil changes. I pay about $130. This last one, I just started going to a buddy of mine that's a mechanic, so it's going to be a little lower. But as of how long I've had the car, it's been $130. The reason being is like the oil itself is like $80, $90 or something, because this thing takes a lot of oil. Another thing that I have to get changed very often is these goddamn tires. I've gone through 2, I think this is my 3rd set. I bought a new set of tires every single year I've had this car. I have a lower control arm bushings from RR Racing that I got a year ago that I'm gonna get put on like next week. I don't know why the hell I waited so long. They apparently help a lot with the inner tire wear, but that is a huge issue with these cars. Honestly, I'm even curious. These are good. I just got these tires probably like 3-4 months ago, but mind you, I was taking traction control off a lot and trying to drift when this shit does not drift. I mean, sometimes they'll slide around a corner, but like it's not worth it. That 2 seconds of fun, I'm gonna just wait till I get a rear wheel drive car and throw shitty tires on it so I could drift, but this is not it. The tires that I'm getting are Michelin Pilot Sports 4 Seasons. They cost $1,300 for the entire set with insurance. So now if one of them gets a flat tire or something, that gets replaced for free. The tires are great. I do like them a lot. I've been using them since my last car, and honestly, I don't think I'm gonna get anything different unless somebody has like some crazy recommendations. But these should be good until at least next year, and maybe I won't even have this car for that long, so I don't know. We'll see. I have done spark plugs. I guess I'll average that into the 3 years, and then some other maintenance I can't even think of right now. I think that's it, honestly. Spark plugs, oil change, tires, and brakes. Let me get into the brakes. So when I got the car, the brakes weren't, I mean, they were good for like 6 months, and then I changed the pads myself, and then my rotors got warped very bad, so I bought a set of Stop Tech rotors and pads. Those were good. They had great bite, but after like 3-4 months, those were warped as well, so kind of fucking terrible. So I had those terrible brakes for like way too long. It was unsafe. And then I finally went back to OEM, I'd say about like 4 months ago or something, and it's been great. I don't know. If you're gonna get aftermarket brakes, I guess look into it. I had the slotted ones, and I remember the guy at Lexus, I told him I was gonna get Stop Tex. He was like, yeah, I had that on like my Evo, and then he went back to OEM because they got warped, and what do you know, he was absolutely right. Now don't come in the comments telling me like, oh, it's because this or like, I'm not saying I'm never gonna get aftermarket brakes. I'm just saying on this car, I don't think it's necessary. It's always good to be able to stop on a dime, but like for the price and then for the issues after, I'm just gonna stick with OEM, and they've been doing me justice. So the Stop Tex I spent, I think, $1,100 on. I also got a stainless steel brake lines, which are still on the car. And then these OEM ones were $1,000, let's say, plus installation for the Stop Tech ones was $400 because I had them flush the whole system, and then installation for these ones was $200. My homie hooked me up. Another thing I just remembered I had was the ignition coils, which were $550. Those were ridiculously expensive, but every time I would floor it, I feel like I was losing power and like I was getting a burning smell. So I don't get that anymore. Everything feels perfect. So those helped a lot too. So basically $400 a month for an oil change, and then all the other stuff I added up that I had to do over the past 3 years and divided it. And in the end, that gets me $1,483 that I have spent on average on maintenance on this car in the past 3 years. Some years it's less, some years it's more, you know, but that is the overall average over 3 years. Now, mind you, every car, every situation is going to be different, so these are just my numbers and what I've spent on this car, but I'm sure, you know, other people's might not be too far off. Like, for example, you're probably not going to need to get 2 sets of rotors and pads over 3 years. That's kind of ridiculous. I wasted my money, but you live and you learn. Also, the tires, you're probably not going to drive a traction control off like a retard, so you will save money on the end. Also, the tires, you're probably not going to need a new set of tires every year, but honestly, no. They say in these cars they last about 15,000 miles, so no, maybe you might. So now for a total sum, because we love numbers so much, the car payment itself is $7,080. The insurance is $2,800 a year. The gas is about $4,500 a year, and the maintenance is about $1,483. So for a grand total, we're at a whopping $15,863 for this car. Honestly, when I put that on paper, that sounds fucking ridiculous, but you know, it is what it is. You're paying for what you're paying for, but I think I gotta start paying for something that's gonna be faster. Overall, I hope this video helped you guys. I got security coming. Well, that wraps up the video. I guess I'm getting kicked out. This is my nice spot too. I'm so tight. But yeah, I hope that helped you guys get an idea of the cost of going into owning something like this. I'm sure there's ways to make it cheaper and stuff. I overspent on a lot of stuff. This isn't even getting into the mods too. I got to do that video next. But I hope this helped you guys get an idea of what it costs to own a 3IS. This is a 2017 IS350. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.